Time for us to have our conversation about law enforcement and crime with the director of the Miami-Dade Police Department, Juan Perez. You can follow him on Twitter at jperezndpd. Good morning to you, Juan.
Good morning, Jimmy. How are you?
I'm fine. Boy, yesterday, I thought about you yesterday when this whole thing was breaking and realizing that all those police officers, I know you weren't the lead agency, but men and women, putting their lives at risk and going through county to county, having to worry about traffic, pedestrians, injuring of other people, the hostage on board. It must have been a complete mess. Tell us how this all operates, and where are you, for example, during this process?
Well, Jimmy, this, first and foremost, two innocent lives were lost in this whole chaotic incident, a tragedy that shouldn't have ever taken place. And obviously, we empathize with the losses, for those victims, the family members, and those losses is a complete tragedy. Our sincere condolences to that. And Jimmy, we had a bigger role than in this because, a lot of the people that were there chasing this vehicle were from Miami-Dade Police Department, and the shooters were Miami-Dade police officers as well. This culminated through a series of events that started in Coral Gables, where these two violent and brazen individuals in the middle of the day decided to do a jewelry heist within a jewelry store, entered the location, and immediately shot around, striking an innocent lady in the head as a result. And after that, there was a shootout between the owner of the business and the subjects. Eventually, as they fled the area, they did this hijacking of a UPS truck with the poor innocent driver from UPS within that truck. And as this thing went north, our units were able to pick it up. We communicate very well between agencies and assist each other, and our units picked it up. They were shooting at our police cars during this pursuit, putting their lives in danger and the lives of the public in danger.
Right.
And it ended in probably the worst case scenario when they did finally come to a stop, stuck in traffic there, where they had nowhere to go because they weren't going to stop, and it was made apparent by their actions already. As our officers tried to contain this vehicle and get tactical positioning around the vehicle to contain it, an exchange of fire began, and the end result is the two perpetrators are dead, but unfortunately, the two innocent people died as a result.
Right.
And it's a complete tragedy, Jimmy. And, I'm glad that the FBI has joined the investigation and FDLE for complete transparency, because I have full faith in their abilities to bring this to at least tell us the story of what occurred exactly, what occurred at the finale, the final resting point of the situation.
It's almost impossible. When I have no idea about how law enforcement operates, but it's almost impossible what you had to face going through another county and then having all these pedestrians surrounding the vehicle because there's nothing else that they can do, and they're trying to get out of the way, and your guys are trying to stop the perpetrators from hurting anybody, and then they start firing, and boy, oh boy, then it's just the luck of the draw where you are at that moment in time, I guess.
Yeah, and I know a lot of people will scrutinize law enforcement and the people that were there, but they have to remember one thing. We want our officers to move forward. We want them to shield the public. That's why they move forward. And we've seen not too far from there what happens when the officer doesn't move forward and try to shield the public. So we want them to show that level of courage. And unfortunately, in that process, the outcome is two innocent people.
Right.
And again, it's heartbreaking that they lost their lives in the process. But the ones that began this whole thing, the ones that decided that the outcome were the two individuals that armed themselves and tried to do a jewelry heist, harm somebody within that jewelry store, and never, ever gave up and put up their hands and come out of that vehicle peacefully. Right.
Your guys had no choice. I mean, they had to do what they did. I mean, they're trying to, because you know what would have happened? These folks in this vehicle would have taken other people hostage. They were not going to stop. If we just chased them with helicopters, they would have kept going and kept taking more people and more automobiles until they thought they could get away, and they would have probably killed more people. There's a no-win situation here, Juan.
Yeah, it's that's a good assumption of what would have happened, and it was the more likely scenario because they had already exchanged vehicles.
Yeah.
And it's
no, they were
a tragedy, and
they were gonna die or get away. That's all. And I can't wait till we find out about these two people, just so we know what kind of a dirtbag would do this. Just amazing to me. Oh boy! Yeah. Well, our thanks to all of your people, especially in a day like today, after what happened yesterday. They showed great courage. We appreciate that. Thanks, Ron. We'll talk to you next week. Have a good day now.
Thank you, Jimmy. Take care.
Take care.